are about to enter a great adventure.
This is Starting from Gorilla.
Hey everybody, this is Mikey Cash alongside Big Vito, and we are strutting from Gorilla, just two jabronis in their 30s who love pro wrestling and love to talk all about it. Now today's episode, we're going to be diving into our review of the most recent Survivor Series that just happened on Saturday. But before we get into that, let me tell you where you can find us on the socials. We're on Facebook at SFG Podcast, on Twitter and TikTok at @from_gorilla, on Instagram at sfgorillapod, and our website is struttingfromgorilla.com. You can go on our website. We have plenty of articles up there. We have our whole feed from our past episodes, so feel free to go in and take a listen. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, feel free to give us a 5-star rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. Now, like I said, today, Vito, we get to talk about the show we went to this past Saturday in Boston, Survivor Series. How are you feeling? Are you pumped for this?
You know, I had such a good time, Mikey, and the best part about it was the best way I can describe how I'm ready to talk about this is from the ring announcer with her enthusiasm for how she started the Wargames match.
Wargames. She's good. I like her a lot. She's good.
Oh yeah. So that's about the type of excitement I have today. I mean, what a great time.
Well, it was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, we had great seats. It was wonderful, and that's where we really need to give a big shout out to DraftKings. They invited the Strutting from Gorilla crew to the show, and honestly, we just had a blast. We had, again, wonderful seats. We got to meet a ton of great fans. We got to meet a couple other podcast guys too, and it was just a wonderful time. So really big shout out to them. It was great.
Yeah, no, you know, huge shout out to those guys over there. They got us great seats, and we met a lot of great people. Maybe even have some new fans listening today because of it. So make sure, though, if you guys haven't played DraftKings, make sure you take a second and sign up for an account. They offer daily fantasy sports and sports betting, and great platform. I use it every week. I know you do, Mikey.
That's right.
So make sure you give it a check. Make sure you check it out. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, big props to them. And I was speechless.
You're speechless, Vito. That's what happened. We never thought that you would be at a loss for words describing a wrestling event, but yet here we are.
Yeah, it just all right, how do we even want to start this? Because I mean, me walking in there and seeing the two rings,
yeah, dude,
was pretty badass. Just that sight alone was pretty fascinating. I've never been to a 2-ring event, so
me neither. I've been to wrestling events where there was a cage match, but I've never been to something like an Elimination Chamber, Hell in a Cell, or now War Games. This was wild. It's massive, this cage. I think sometimes TV doesn't do it justice, but seeing the two rings together and then the cage on top of it, it's intimidating. So I can't imagine what the wrestlers felt like sort of going through, you know, kind of their own practices with it and just getting acclimated to it. It's unbelievable.
It was. And I can tell you that I know us leading up to the show, even before the show, we were talking about, all right, who's coming out tonight? What surprises are they going to offer? And we were thinking of all the things we took all the tools out of the shed.
we honestly, if you look back, if we go and listen to the last episode, almost all of our predictions that we had about like who's going to return, what's gonna like, almost none of that happened.
No, it's true.
Almost none of it happened. So,
Nope, none of it did. So we were completely wrong in that aspect. But I will say that we are going to have to change your name here at Strutting from Gorilla from Mikey Cash to the Oracle. It's just
okay.
it's getting a little scary. Like, do you know what color underwear I have on right now? Like, that's the type of thing I'm nervous about, because the amount of predictions you've had come right in the past, couple weeks has been pretty eerie.
Yeah, it's been weird. It's been weird. I honestly don't know what's going on. The stars are aligning. Maybe Mercury's in retrograde or something. I don't know. But I happen to be on a good streak. It hasn't helped me on my fantasy football team, but it's helped me here in wrestling.
That's fair. I don't know what it is. You've harnessed some sort of power, but it's been impressive, Mikey. Even at the show, you were not afraid to tell me that you knew that was coming.
It's funny because sometimes I just say things. I feel like Michael Scott, where it's like an improvisation. Like I just say things and I don't really know where it's going. So sometimes I forget what I even said to you. I was like, I think that might happen. And then it happens. Like, who knew? So, hey, that's all right. It was still an enjoyable event, even if some of the things I knew might be coming. It was, should we start, instead of just gushing over Survivor Series, why don't we give maybe some high level thoughts of the overall show, and then we'll get into a match breakdown if that's all right with you.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
You want me to go first? Or
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
All right. So here's the thing. Loved the show. Had a great time. Obviously, being in there in person, it brings a whole different aspect to the show, right? I had a chance to come home and watch it on Peacock as well, because I wanted to see, like, what was it like. Did I get that same feeling on the live broadcast as I did, in the garden? And it was good. I really did enjoy it overall. Was a little bit disappointed there was no Bray Wyatt, but outside of that, I think it fit the bill. I like the fact that it was only a handful of matches that were there. It didn't make the show feel long, even though some of the matches were long.
Yeah. It wasn't jam packed. I say that, but it was packed because it had 2 War Games matches.
Right.
But they didn't like completely go the AEW route and just give us 15 matches on this card along with 2 War Games matches. It was, we're going to give you 5 matches, just going to bookend the night with 2 War Games, and those other matches in between are, I mean, it sounds demeaning to call them filler, but I think basically everybody was there for War Games. So as much as these other matches did well, like the main focus of the night was each War Games match.
Right. Yeah. The only thing from a live audience standpoint that I missed, that I didn't really hear, when we went to the AEW event, they had the announcer come out and really like get the crowd going a little bit and like talk through what was going to happen. And like, I liked that aspect. I mean, here it was just literally the War Games music hit. Michael Cole, Corey Graves came out. You had no idea what was going on. And then it was showtime. Like, there was no build up. There was nothing.
See, that doesn't bother me though. Like,
that bothers me.
I don't need to be handheld. I know when the show's starting. They show the thing, the beginning video.
Yeah, but I like a little slow build here. Give me a little foreplay. Like, get me going a little bit. I'm sitting there watching a cage for, an hour and a half, waiting for the show to start.
Vito, you already had a couple of beers. You're already lubed up. You don't really need much more than that. Okay, you're ready to go.
I don't know. Back in the day, Mikey, they used to have like, all
the
right,
countdown to going
we
live.
Come back,
and
then we go live, and they're like, get your signs ready, and the crowd would go bananas. And
yeah, well, I mean that was the Fink back then. Howard Finkel get on there and be like,
He was one of them.
Monday Night Raw will be going live.
Yeah,
love
and then
that. But
there was something else. There was another guy who did it too. He was like a bigger guy. I can't remember his name, but
see, he didn't really stand out too much there. You don't even remember.
no,
his
but
name.
Justin Roberts did it at AEW and did a great job.
No, I see. I don't mind it, but I didn't feel like it didn't like take it away from me. I still was.
Yeah,
I was still pumped as soon as the show started.
I mean, so was I. However, I'm just saying I really used to enjoy that, and I just it went 0 to 100, real quick.
This sounds like an episode of Seinfeld. I'm just saying I could have used a little bit of
slow build.
warning before the show started.
I need a slow build. Mikey, I need a slow build.
I get it. I was in a pool. All right. So overall thoughts on the show were it was good.
Yeah.
It was very good overall. Small card allowed it to be a focused show. We didn't have too many distractions. I think along those lines were the fact that there was no Bray Wyatt there. And I know that for me, that was a little disappointing too. I thought there would be something along those lines, but they made up for it in how the main event panned out, and we'll get to that. But I also think that there was a little bit of Bray's imprint at the end of the women's match. And I'll get to that as we kind of go into the breakdown. But there's a particular shot, and I didn't really notice it until I was just like on social media and I was like perusing through and saw some pictures of the end of the women's war game match, and all of them are sort of there, have their hand held, like their hands raised in victory, and there's just a look on Alexa's face that I think leads me to think that Bray's presence was there even if he wasn't.
So I don't know if you saw Raw last night.
I did.
So she had that same kind of thing go on when she was interviewed.
Yeah.
She basically, they're like, Alexa? She's like, yeah. What she said.
Yeah, and they had Bray's like insignia sort of pop up on the TV behind her. So, like I said, man, we're already seeing a little bit of Bray's influence on it. So, but let's get into it. Let's give this breakdown. Let's just go from top to bottom. Let's start with women's war games. So, for folks who didn't get to watch, or hopefully this isn't spoilers for anybody listening right now, but it was Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Nikki Cross versus Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and the returning Becky Lynch. And I thought this was a great opening match, man. The fact that they had Becky come out first, I think really set the tone for the show. I was pumped. I think the whole crowd was pumped to see her back. I mean, what about you?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was excited. We kind of figured that they were going to open with the war games and close with the war games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before the show, we even said, I think it's going to open with women's and it's going to close with men's. And we were right on that aspect for sure. I thought the match was great. I mean, in my opinion, it was the better of the two war games. As far as wrestling goes, I thought. Yeah. But the men's had some great storytelling and a whole backstory to it, so that was really good. But I mean, who's your star in this whole women's war games?
Well, along to sort of go off of what you said, absolutely right. You're on the money. In terms of match structure, the women's match was stellar in my opinion. In terms of storytelling, I would say that the men's match kind of had him beat on that. But both of them were great. So it's not really one versus the other to me. In terms of who my MVP was, it's got to be Dakota Kai. She was in that match for almost an hour, almost the whole time. And she ate so much shit throughout that match. And I mean, she got tossed all over the ring. She had multiple instances where she was chucked into the cage. I can't remember if it's her that Becky does the leg drop on or if it's Io or Nikki. It was one of those three, but for some reason, like it's just blanking. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was Io.
Okay. All right. So At least they gave her a break for the end. But
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it was.
I
But
think
Mike, you're asking the wrong person because
I
I
know.
also
I know.
had to go to the bathroom during this match, and
Oh,
it's
that's
a
true.
long match, so I got up. I'm in the bathroom. I hear the crowd roaring. I come back and see
I mean,
Becky Lynch.
what was it? It was a 50-minute match, and you went to the
Yeah,
bathroom at minute 49, and it
yeah.
cracked me
You
up.
gotta go. You
So
gotta go. You gotta
as
go.
soon as you
Like,
came back, I was like, the match is over. So
yeah, you
whoops.
gotta go. You gotta go.
But yes, but back to Dakota Kai, man. Honestly, dude, for my money, she's an incredibly underrated performer. I think that she did a lot of great work down in NXT. She had a lot of great character work throughout that time, and you really just see the fruits of it now that she's on the main roster. I honestly, I'm happy that she's one half of the tag team champions, but I would love at some point to see her be a singles champion. Maybe at some point that means breaking away from Bayley, or maybe that means they kind of divide and conquer, and Bayley goes for Raw and Dakota goes for SmackDown. Who knows? But I think we got a future champ on our hands. But quite honestly, the women's division's getting a little loaded at the top. Now that Becky's back, Bayley's there, Bianca's there, Rhea's there, Candice LeRae is there. I mean, Jesus, it's funny. I
Yeah.
completely forgot about Ronda. Ronda's there too, but I don't really count her too much.
No,
But anyway, that's down the line. But hell of a match. And once again, about the whole Bray influence on this night. At the end of that match, just watch Alexa's face. You starting to see the influence of the Fiend.
She's getting a turn.
It's there. And I don't know what that means for her, whether she's going to, I would love for her to sort of go back into that again. I don't know. I hope it's not exactly the same, because I think it really booked her into a corner. And I think you saw that when Bray left, like she was kind of left like rudderless in terms of her character, because they sort of really had her dive in deep with the whole Fiend thing. So I don't know. I want her to be aligned with him, but maybe for it to be not as intense for her as before. Like I still want her to maintain a semblance of her current character, if that makes sense. I'm just worried about what happens if this doesn't become a long-term thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. Like I'm very much indifferent on this one, Mikey. Like I like Alexa Bliss just in general.
Yeah.
But
what?
But sorry, we have an issue whenever I say Alexa. My Alexa goes off. So that
Bliss. Just call her Bliss.
Okay, we're gonna call her
so
Bliss.
that Amazon isn't listening.
I like Bliss, but I kind of like her Fiend character. Like it, anytime you can get another layer to somebody, it works out. But I would like to see it more than just what it was. Like have a different layer to it. Does that make sense? Where, Bray had his layer when he was Bray Wyatt. He was in the funhouse and he was this happy-go-lucky guy. And then when he came to the ring, he was the Fiend. It was a whole layer. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
Yeah. If they decide to go that route, like really lean into her. I don't want her to get lost under Bray. And I think that's what happened last time. She was basically the vehicle for Bray, and it was like, okay, that's great, but like, what is she doing? What is she achieving in the women's division? She was achieving nothing. She was just like doing all of this stuff for Bray, and like, that's fine. But if she's supposed to feel important, then make her feel important. Do something that's gonna, whether it's put her in the title picture, give her a title, something.
Yeah,
there's got to be meaning behind it.
Yeah, there definitely does, because you can't just do what you did last time.
Right. And I would hope that Triple H knows that. I don't think he's an idiot, but
no,
we'll see how this goes.
No, but it is interesting how they're doing it now, where she's kind of like in between this thing. It almost makes it seem like she's not important in some of those matches.
She hasn't been.
I know.
She's been just. It's funny. Before we even came on today, I was just, because I'm always thinking about wrestling, so it just popped in my head. I was like, it kind of feels like she's just been floating along since she came back. And it's not that I don't like her, but I feel like there hasn't been any real reason for anybody to get invested in her. And
That's true.
It's sad. It's sad because I do think she's really good, and she had an incredible run years ago when the second time they did the brand split and she was the women's champion, and she had a nice run with Becky where they did a lot of great work together. And since that time, she's really struggled to sort of like find her footing. And then the Wyatt thing, I think, really set her back booking wise for like almost a year, dude. Like she had to basically take all this time off and then come back. So that's why I'm worried about this happening again. And maybe they make it part of the story where other people start recognizing it, like where they can like reference past storylines and say, well, we saw this happen before to you. And maybe there's some sort of weird intervention they try to do to try to keep her from like falling back into that. Who knows?
Yeah. I think they also, need to look at the fact that I feel like there are two women's divisions, right? There's the people like Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair, and a few others that are just physically much, much larger than some of the other women, right?
So you're talking like heavy hitters.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, can Alexa Bliss keep up with them? Like, I mean, that's would be my question. And I wonder, like, do you have one title for those heavyweights and another for the ones that aren't? I don't know. That's just my thought process. But then that goes back to the age-old question, like, should Shawn Michaels have been WWE champion?
Because he fought Undertaker and Vader and all those, and British Bulldog and all those other big heavy hitter wrestlers.
Yeah,
I think you can make it work. If you do it right, I think you can make it work. You can make it believable.
Yeah.
Because me and having too many titles. The last thing I want is another fucking title introduced.
I know. You know what? While we're talking about that, let's give credit where credit is due. A former SFG host, Big Mango, used to bitch about this all the time.
That's true.
His quote, and I want to give this quote correctly, is, if everyone has a title, no one has a title.
It's true.
And it couldn't be more true. I think we were all on the same page when he talked about that.
Yeah.
But it really is true. And I hate it. But
I know. And that's why we're not going to go that route. That's why I'm not going to. I refuse to believe that WWE would do that again. So we'll see. We'll see. I have more faith in Triple H than I do Vince. So
we'll see.
I can do this. All right, let's move on. Women's.
Well, wait. Before we move on, though, what was your favorite spot from the match?
It was. Well, I mean, I think it was the end. I think that was it was so badass. I mean, what was your favorite spot? You didn't get to see that one. So, of all the ones you got to see before you went to the bathroom?
I think there were two. You had Nikki Cross jumping from the top of the cage.
Yeah, that was good too.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And you had who went through the table? I know Bianca Belair.
I think it was Bianca, wasn't it?
Was it Ripley that threw her through the chair? Or was it the other way around? I thought it was Ripley that went through the chair.
I think it was Ripley. I think you're right.
Yeah.
There was so much happening. Sometimes it was hard to see, remember who went through what, but there was a lot of destruction in that first match.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. So yeah, great match.
Great match of the night, in my opinion.
Oh, me too. Let's go to the next match, which was Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. I mean, I liked it. I need to watch this again on Peacock. Unlike you, Vito, I didn't get to watch Survivor Series again once I got home. but
Mhm.
that is on my list of things to do. Uh, I didn't really get to. I haven't paid attention to Finn Balor's entrances for a little while. Like they just sort of come out, and I'm sort of like listening to the commentary. But being at the event and watching his entrance, I really enjoy it. Actually, I like the variation of his music. I noticed that since all of these guys have joined the Judgment Day, that there have been they still have their like proper music, but they've sort of shifted it a little bit. Like it's still there if you listen to it. And I kind of like that. Just a little bit of a subtle change to the character, but I like his mask, dude. I thought it was awesome. Like it's so like it's almost like American Horror Story looking. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, he's had a few of those. I think the last one he came out with was like spiked.
Yeah.
It was like the
Yep.
same thing, but it was like spiked. Yeah, I mean, I like his entrance. It's fine. I prefer the old one. I prefer the old Finn a little bit more.
Me too. I mean, I miss it too. I miss the
Yeah,
demon.
but he's kind of coming back in this whole thing now. I
Yeah.
feel like he's getting a little bit more of himself. I was a big Demon Finn fan, so I just throw that out there. But no, going into this match, Mike, is I thought this was going to be the match of the night. I thought it was going to steal the show, and I didn't think it was bad by any means at all.
Mhm.
I thought it was a good match, a really good match. But I thought it would be a little bit harder hitting. I mean, these guys have wrestled plenty of times before. They know each other very, very well. And it was good. Like
Mhm.
there was nothing wrong with it. I can't complain. I'm sure it'll be like a 4-star match on Dave
Yeah.
Meltzer's
Yeah. Who knows?
rating system. But I don't know. It just didn't seem as intense as I would have thought for these two.
You know, I almost wonder if part of that was because of the structure of the pay per view itself.
Could be.
You had these two big war games matches where there's a lot of destruction, there's a lot of hard hitting stuff already
Yeah.
happening. So I wonder if for the purposes of that they had to change a little bit of the style that they were working in order
Mhm.
to like create a little variety in terms of what you're getting with each match so that it's not just one note throughout the whole
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. No, that's fair. You could be right. Listen, I didn't think it's bad. I think both guys are great wrestlers, so it's hard to have a bad match with those two.
No, absolutely not. They have great chemistry together, and I thought that this match, I liked the way they structured the match. It was different than the first time they fought, where that was like face and face. This was the more traditional style of the bad guy and the good guy, and so you got to have Finn working his heel style, which he does pretty well, and then you got Styles working his face style, which again, I mean, it's been successful for him in his whole run here. So I think they saying basic makes it sound like I'm demeaning them, but that's not what I mean by that. Like it was basic in terms of what they needed to do to sort of have this kind of match, tell the
Yeah.
story that they needed to tell. The people that got involved, like you have the OC and you got the Judgment Day, and like that's always going to be a presence there. And after watching Raw, I kind of feel like in a weird way, they used this pay-per-view match to sort of set up what ended up happening on Raw. So it is an interesting little vehicle there.
Yeah, no, listen, there's nothing wrong with the match. I thought it was great. I had no qualms with it. I figured they would have incorporated the two rings a little bit more just because he had them there, but they really didn't, which is fine. No,
Yeah,
listen, that's just my personal
that's what they
preference.
do.
Um, but no, it was good. You want to know something crazy though? Did you know? And I think I saw the stat last night or somewhere, but AJ Styles has not won a match on a premium live event in like 6 years or something in a singles match.
That's a hell
I
of a
swear to
streak.
God, it was some stat like that that they showed. He literally hadn't won a singles match in a premium live event since like it was a while. Because I mean, you
Mhm.
think about it, he was in the tag team division for a while,
Right.
but Yeah, that's a crazy little stat.
Well, there you go. Interesting. But yeah, so this was not much else to really say about this match. It was good. I think it accomplished what it needed to.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree.
yeah, I enjoyed it. Let's move on. The
Sure.
SmackDown's Women's Championship match: Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey. So, Vito, you had some facts about this match I didn't know.
Yeah. So weirdly enough, I found out that Brian Kendrick was quietly hired back to WWE as a producer. And he produced this match that went on. So I just thought that was a little fun fact, but the other part of it was clearly the worst match of the night.
It's tough to agree with you, but I do. It was my least favorite match. I won't say worst because I think they worked their asses off.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's just not. Yeah, it
there were
was
a lot
really
of
hard to get into it. I think they tried hard. I think you could tell that they were trying to do a lot of stuff to try to make it feel important, to try to get the crowd involved. There was only so much they could do that wouldn't end up stepping on what the women already did in the War Games match and what the guys were about to do in their War Games match. So this is the tough spot that I think they were in. That normally a match like this, that in my view had a little bit of a lackluster build, hard to really get invested, sometimes will benefit from some sort of gimmick, having like a ladder match or a no DQ match where you can sort of make it a little bit of a car crash and the crowd will sort of get behind it that way. But they didn't really have that option here. So they did a little bit of it by going out into the crowd, but I think that was about as much as they could do. But they were limited, and I don't want this to sound like I'm shitting on Shotzi. I just think she continues to need some more reps when it comes to in-ring work. Sometimes Ronda does too. As much as I think she's good, sometimes she can be a little sloppy herself.
Right, but she's got the draw power.
Well,
that's
right.
The difference.
She has the sort of the aura about her because she's Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing she had that Shotzi didn't have working in her favor.
Yeah, I thought this match was a weird one to begin with anyways. I don't see it as if you're choosing 5 matches to be on this card, this wouldn't be one that I would be like, oh, this should definitely be on here between these two. Like, it just didn't make sense. But that being said, it to me was just, and you're right, it wasn't like the worst match we had ever seen, but it just, out of the matches there, it was the worst one on the card, and it lived up to that. There were too many botches. I will say, if you watch the part where they go into the crowd, it was pretty funny, right? We were able to see there was a section where there were no fans at all, and then they just plopped like 5 or 6 big dudes down there.
They put some in, like independent wrestlers on there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and they got thrown into the fans and they all went down, and then after their crowd shot, they all walked off, and there was still nobody else sitting there again. Like, it was
just a revolving door of who's going to sit in that seat.
Yeah, it was really pretty funny to watch.
No, it was, and it was fine, but I think, like you were saying, this is the same critique that I had with the AEW show, where some matches didn't need to be on it. And that's okay. It's just, this could have been fine with 4 matches.
Yeah.
Where you just had 2 matches in between. Maybe they just felt they needed a little bit more time to give the audience a little bit of come down and then get ready again for sort of the big event that is a War Games match.
Yep.
But in my view, this could have been on SmackDown. Could have been a SmackDown match, and it would have been just fine for SmackDown.
Right.
Like, it would have fit, and I don't think anybody would have had any problems with it. I think it's just didn't feel like a pay-per-view match to me.
Agreed.
Just my own opinion.
Agreed.
But what the hell do I know? So, all right, let's move on.
Yep.
U.S. title match, triple threat: Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory.
So, we said that the women's War Games won the match of the night, right?
Mhm.
I think this was a close second. I really enjoyed this match.
Mhm.
More than I thought I would, to be
It's the
completely
surprise of the
honest.
night for sure.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this match. And my favorite part is the entrances from these guys. Like,
Yeah.
Seth Rollins' entrance, obviously great
It's
entrance.
fantastic, man.
Though I've made this point before and I stand by it. I feel like he just stole Shinsuke's whole shtick. Like, it's
I don't think so.
very similar, dude.
I
Dude,
don't
it's
know.
super similar.
That feels like a stretch. I don't see that. I don't see that. I love
Okay.
Shinsuke as much as you. But I don't think he went out and stole it.
Okay, that's fine. I
It's because the
disagree.
crowd sings along, right? That's the thing that
Sings
gets you.
along. He does this whole thing, just like Shinsuke. I just too close. That's like, what it reminds me of? It's like Vanilla Ice and is it Queen?
Yeah, it was Queen.
Queen, it's not the same, but it's pretty damn
Under,
close.
under pressure and
Bum
ice
bum
ice
bum bada
baby.
bum
There it is.
bum.
That's a really good comparison. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that
Okay,
one because
all right.
there is some similarity there. All right.
All right, but then you got Bobby Lashley, who probably is one of my favorites right now. I love Bobby Lashley.
Great entrance too.
Yeah, another great entrance, and then you get Theory, Austin Theory, who I like this new Austin Theory, right? Let's take what worked with Roman Reigns and do it exactly with Austin Theory, and it's great. People were shoved down our throat, and people didn't want him to be, and they make him heel, and everyone.
Perfect.
It's great.
It is a formula that has not let anyone down yet.
No,
When somebody comes in as some sort of, I mean, he wasn't necessarily a good guy anyway, initially, but I think he was more hokey, and then they made a switch to him and
Agreed.
gave him a little bit of an edge, and he can always go back to the hokey stuff at some point. I think there's always, it's pro wrestling, dude. Not everything's going to be super
I know.
serious.
Yeah.
You got to leave yourself some room for that. So I'm totally fine with the idea that at some point that might get introduced again, but maybe once people have learned to take him seriously and really, I don't want to say respect him, because I mean the guy's professionally trained. I find myself I respect all of these people that are on the TV, but I think it's just more of a sort of building up cred. That's the way I see it, and then he can sort of experiment and sort of do some of these funny things. We've seen it happen with guys that everybody took seriously. I mean, look at Austin. Yeah. Some of his best work was these comedy segments that he did back in the day.
I know,
but you still believed in him as a badass, right?
Of course.
So there's room for both, and I think it's just going to take time for Theory to get to that point. But I think he's on his way.
I agree. The other crazy part about this match that I wanted to kind of give credit to is, listen, Bobby Lashley is a big bad dude, and he's going toe to toe and keeping up with these other guys that are quick and agile, and I give him credit for that. That's a big deal. I mean, he was just up against Brock Lesnar, who's the complete opposite of that, held his own, then comes in and can work with Seth Rollins and Austin Theory. To me, that's a testament to the guy that that he can wrestle, man.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, Lashley's pushing 50, and this guy is looking like a spry young chicken, the things he's doing in the ring. This guy is amazing. I almost, how much I love me a little bit of Impact. I think I almost need to go back and start watching some of Lashley's run there.
Yeah.
When he was with MVP. I kind of feel like I need to do that just to give Lashley the respect he deserves, because I think that had a lot to do with the Bobby Lashley we see now.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about it. So but the match really, it just was well told. It was a story that was well told in the ring, and there were some great spots in there that just like the ending, I think, was perfect. I think we kind of all thought Theory was going to win somehow, and we just didn't know how. But the ending was perfect for that, right? Like you
Yeah.
get the spear and the cover on top. So
I thought it was good. It was, to me, it was actually a little surprising. I didn't know if maybe Lashley would sort of walk out with that as a way to like recoup what happened with Lesnar. But
yeah,
I think honestly, man, I think this could be a good move for Theory, and just see
yeah,
where it goes from here. And I don't know if this. I mean, I saw Raw, so obviously Theory and Rollins aren't necessarily done yet. But I'm curious where now, like, where's Lashley going? Right?
I think back to Brock Lesnar.
Probably,
Yeah,
probably, which
I
is
think
fine with me. I
yeah,
mean, it kind of speaks to what you were just saying. The guy can do everything,
yeah,
and he's a legitimate threat to Brock Lesnar. He's already beaten Lesnar once. I
yeah.
mean, there's not a long list of guys that have wins over Lesnar.
Braun, maybe Braun.
Uh, sorry, that was that I don't get into Braun. I
I
can't.
know,
I don't
I
know
know
what
you
it
don't.
is.
Yeah,
Listen, maybe he's a great guy, but I just don't see it. I
yeah,
don't see it.
that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the last match of the night,
To
and
your
we
main event of the
we do
evening.
have some listener questions that I have here.
No
They
way.
came in late. Yeah, we got some in our inbox. So we'll get to those afterwards. But all right, the main event, we got the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes with Sheamus, Rich Holland, Pete Dunne, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. How did
Yeah,
you feel
man.
about this match, Mikey?
This is where I think this match was more about storytelling than it was about match structure. I think they did a lot. They worked a lot of story and character work in this match, even in the little like locked cages that they were in, the containment cages that they had.
The Shark Tanks,
Yeah,
the Shark,
you know what, the Shark Tanks. That's a better way to describe it.
or Shark Cages, not tanks.
Did you see at one point when was it Jimmy that was going to come out and then
Yeah.
Roman was sitting there and he held him and he made Sammy go?
Yeah.
I loved that. I love
Yeah.
that, especially because Jay was already in the ring. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. Send Sammy out there to try to help out Jay, considering all the tension between the two of them. This whole match was centered around Sami Zayn. The whole match was centered around him, Kevin Owens, and basically Roman Reigns, and Sammy trying to prove his loyalty to the Bloodline. And I think a lot of us thought, I myself was kind of included, that maybe this would be where, the Bloodline might even like sacrifice the match to turn on Sami Zayn and just get him out of the Bloodline. But I was honestly a little surprised that they went this route, where now, like, Sammy's doubled down and he's fully buying in, and now betraying this friendship and this like this 20-year brotherhood that he's had with Kevin Owens. And I love that they're self-referential here. Like they are, there's some things that body language wise, even like moments throughout the match that were callbacks to things that they did there was like a Battleground pay-per-view. It was one of like the best matches that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have had in their WWE time here. And they sort of called back to that. And it was just a nice little artistic nod. And you could see just how he's being played. I kind of love that, right? Like, even though it's like the classic trope of like when you're watching a television show, it's like we, the viewer, know what's going on, but the character has no idea. So I think Sammy is so blinded by his desire to be accepted by the Bloodline that he's turned on his friends. And now at the final shot of that show, when all of them are sort of like holding the fingers up, and you see Roman and Jay looking at Sammy, and their eyes tell the whole story, that they are playing this guy and he has no idea. And I maybe I'm exaggerating, but I found it to be, in terms of like, how we've shit on WWE storytelling before and how sometimes it's sort of a lack thereof. This is a real, some of the best work that they've done.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm kind of gushing about it, and maybe I'm standing for it, but whatever, dude. Like it was great.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, to go along with that, I'm pretty sure at one point when I think Sammy gave him a low blow,
Mm-hmm.
and then Kevin Owens fell into his arms.
That's what I'm talking about.
You literally were like, "Oh, so poetic." And I laugh because you're right. Like it is, and it is great storytelling, and it's very Sopranos-esque, like, where they're building this guy up and they're gonna make him feel like he's on his side, and then he's gonna be the first one cast to the wolves
Yeah,
down the line.
absolutely.
And it'll be very interesting to see. But yeah, it is. It's good storytelling.
Sammy is their court jester right now. He's funny, and they like keeping him around for now.
Yeah.
And that's basically what this is until he's done playing with the toy. And then Roman says, all right, time to kick him out.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was a good match. Again, I think the women's one was better. But it was a decent match. They had some great spots in there when they, were grabbing them by the chest, and then all the team brawling group.
Yeah, that was a great spot right there. That was really cool.
Yeah. Then there was another spot that I guess I was reading, Kevin Owens got some heat for because Roman Reigns wasn't expecting it. Do you remember when he got slapped in the face? It was like this hard slap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen, and like they think Roman Reigns actually has a busted eardrum because it was like a seriously hard slap. And they were pissed because he said no to Kevin Owens originally about the spot, and he did it anyways. So there was like a little thing.
I kind of feel like that's story. I think I think it's things like that to get people like, oh man, they must really not like each other. Now let's see what happens on TV when they actually when Kevin Owens is now in a title picture and they're going to fight each other at the Rumble.
Could be.
That was already rumored.
Could be, but you also know
Big Vito is a mark. This isn't ballet.
Well, yeah, and Big Vito is a mark for this type of stuff.
I know. You love the drama, Vito. Yeah. You love the drama.
I am the drama.
Well, you know what's funny is I think I read that too, and one of the reports said something like, "Oh, he was supposed to go to the press conference and then he didn't."
Yeah,
and so people gave him a lot of shit, and I was like, "There's a lot of irony here that because he was angry and didn't go, now people are angry." When just 2 months ago, there was a whole ordeal about the champion showing up at a press conference angry and saying shit he shouldn't have been saying.
Yeah.
So arguably, in my view, I'm like, all right, so Roman handled this right. If this is really true, Roman handled this right by not going to the press conference. I'm not going to say something that I'm going to end up regretting.
Right.
So there you go. I'm going to handle it backstage.
Right.
Even better. So nobody got bit. No dogs were harmed at this press conference. Everything was fine.
No, you're right. And so like to wrap up the War Games, I think the pay-per-view was great. I think we both gave it a solid what?
I would say B plus A minus.
That's what I
think what would have taken it over the top is if there was sort of a Bray thing. But honestly, it was going to take away from what they just did with Sammy. It really would have sucked the wind out of that moment. So I get why they didn't. So,
before we get into the listener questions that I have, what's next? There's no December pay-per-view, so we're going right into the Royal Rumble. Just a brief.
Thank God, there's no December pay-per-view.
Right.
It's pointless.
Right. But what's next? Like, what do you see? Just like nothing. I don't want to go too much in depth here. But do you see anything at the Royal Rumble happening? Obviously, we're going to have the 2 women and men's Royal Rumbles. Do you think there'll be any surprises, anything crazy going on?
No, I think we'll finally get a Bray match. That's my prediction. Either a Bray match, or he wins the Rumble, or he has some pretty significant showing. Because I think we're sort of clamoring for that now. And like we said last episode, you don't want this to turn into Veer Mahan territory. All right, at some point he's got to get in the ring and he's got to be in action. So
I heard they were going to do. I heard there was this idea called a pitch black match. I don't know what that means.
I don't know
Yeah, but it's like a new match idea, and it's called the Pitch Black match. I have no idea. Probably Bray wrestling in the dark because it'll hide him wrestling. I have no idea.
I don't know. I have no
Um,
clue.
I personally think, we've been talking about Sasha coming back. I think Cody will come back at the Royal Rumble in the men's. I think Sasha will come back in the women's. I mean, I think it's like,
maybe.
I think that's like the perfect two to come back. And I think Cody definitely comes back and wins the Rumble. That's my bold early prediction.
That could be a really interesting prediction. I think a lot of people sort of see that happening.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, he had a pretty serious pectoral injury, so I just don't know. Like this, not everyone is going to pull the John Cena and come back in like 5 months. Like
if anybody would, it would be.
So,
if anyone would, it would be Cody Rhodes.
Hey, it would be great. It'd be great. I wouldn't hate that in the setup for a Cody Roman potential match. That could be really good, quite honestly. And I heard somebody say, well, maybe The Rock will win the Royal Rumble. Listen, I love The Rock as much as the next guy, but I really hope he doesn't do that.
That'd be a terrible way for him.
It would be a rough way. I think the crowd would kind of boo that.
I think so too. It'd be
as much as people love Rock, I don't think people would be necessarily behind that.
Agreed.
Because he doesn't need it. He wouldn't need it.
No.
Sasha, I don't know, man. I want her to come back because I think this might be her best platform. At the same time, she's been all her Instagram stuff. She's been loving her time down in Mexico. She's also talked about Japan, and New Japan just crowned an inaugural women's champion in Kairi Sane. And I know those two were buddy. You don't know, man. You don't know. She could really use that star power and maybe elevate a women's division over there. It's not out of the realm of possibility here. Who's willing to fork over the dough?
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to see what happens, but we'll probably talk more about that as we move forward here. But I just wanted to get a quick thought on that. But let's get into some questions here real quick. I had some come in. I have 3 questions. We'll start with the first one from Jim from Southie. He says, Seth Rollins seems like the current favorite song to sing for the crowd, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the best version of that in wrestling history? So I think what he's asking is, the crowd really gets into his music. Is there another wrestler in the past that seems that the crowd would get into it as well? And what's the best one? It's a good question.
That is a good question. Well, I think obviously Shinsuke comes to mind. He's somebody else that we were talking about. Who else?
Kurt Angle.
Well, the use.
I think Kurt Angle is
that's
right up winner.
There. Yeah, you're right. That's really good.
Yeah, what other one is there? I mean, I gotta give it to this guy. You're not gonna like this answer, but I gotta do it. Yeah,
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah,
you got to, right?
It's true. No, it's true. Listen, I have my issues with Jericho at this point in his career, but I think you can't deny
if we're talking about crowd singing.
Crowd, right?
They literally shut his music off, and it kept going.
Yeah, I love it.
So, good question, Jim from Southie. All right, we got one from Jeff, the acknowledged one, and it's who got the biggest cheer in Boston relative to other cities? So, who do we think that maybe got a bigger cheer here that didn't in other cities?
Bigger cheer here that they didn't get in other cities. That's a tough one for me. I mean, I feel like Asuka got a pretty big pop that night. People love Asuka. What about you? What do you think?
That's a really good question. I mean, I would say the biggest pop of the night. I mean, Roman was clearly obvious.
Just definitely.
Yeah, Roman.
Maybe Sammy.
The crazy part was
I think people Boston really loved Sammy.
Yeah, They did love Sammy, but it's hard to tell which one was which because
Mhm.
they had
Mhm.
they had
Yeah, it's hard to
everyone come
separate.
out together. Trying to think of some of the other ones.
I
I
mean,
mean, Seth Rollins did get a pretty good pop.
yeah, and along the lines of the previous question, the crowd was with him for his entrance music, singing along
Yeah,
to him. He was there. Hell, even Becky too. I mean, Becky was a big pop. This is her first match back.
yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, good question. Okay, and our last question is from the Nacho Seat Man, and it is,
Nice.
why is Kevin Owens so beloved by hardcore wrestling fans? Because he actually did get a good pop too.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's just earned it. He's been a
Yeah,
workhorse, and he's somebody that doesn't have the typical wrestler look. And I think that almost puts him in sort of Mick Foley like category to me. Except I think he is able, Foley's strengths were in sort of the death match, hardcore matches, sort of that really hard hitting style. And I think Kevin Owens can do that, but he can also work a more traditional match. And I think that, along with incredible promo work, even during the height of how scripted everything felt when people were executing promos, Kevin Owens always stood out as the exception to that because it always felt natural. It always felt like it was still him talking. And I think people see that. I think people respect that. And I think it makes him authentic in their eyes. And so it's easy to get behind him. And it's the same thing with Sami Zayn.
yeah. So I'm gonna take that a step further because I think it's more about the fact that he came up from the independent scene, right? And if you look at the quality, have you seen a lot of his matches from before he came to WWE?
I've
Like,
seen some of his stuff from Ring of Honor.
yeah, right. There was some crazy shit that he did,
Yeah.
and I think the fans that are kind of more of your hardcore wrestling fans,
Mm-hmm.
your AEW style fans, saw that work and then saw him in NXT and saw what he did in NXT.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he beats John Cena in his first match up in the main roster. And that's a big push. Like, that is a big push when John Cena at that point was like pretty much hated. You love the
Yeah.
guy, but you really hate the guy. Um, and so I think that's really the big style between it. Plus, like you said, I think he's also just a brawling type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, his mantra is fight Owens, fight, and he don't give a shit. Like, that's his mantra, and he plays it off really well. So, I mean, that would be my 2 cents on that. But those are some really great questions today. I got to be
Yeah,
honest.
that was really good. Those are good. Those are really good questions.
Yeah.
So what's next for us, Vito?
We'll have to find out, right? We got the
Yep.
holidays coming up. Let's see if we can
Life gets busy, but
yeah, let's see if we can put something together here. Maybe we'll do a spotlight episode or two, or do a preview for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. We always tend to hit on that.
those will be coming down the pike. But
Yeah, I think actually, well, we got a minute here. I think we should take a second. Our friend Vinny Berry over at
Wrestleville.
Wrestleville, yeah, he's got a new book coming out. He had the first edition of the Pro Wrestling Vault, and now he's got the second edition. And just want to give a big shout out to him. Make sure you go check out Wrestleville.com. Give his book a read. It really has some great stories from some wrestlers that are either might be in the past or some independent guys and
Mm-hmm.
some current stars. And it's just a really interesting book. I haven't read the new one yet. That's on my list, but
Yep.
we'll hopefully have Vinny back here on the podcast. He's always a great friend of the podcast. And
Absolutely.
we'll hopefully have him coming up soon. So that's pretty much what I think we got going on, Mikey.
Well, first off, I can't wait to have Vinny back on. He could be our first three-peat guest on this show, so that'll be monumental for us. Two, I've been as you're talking, I'm thinking about, well, maybe something we talk about since it's December coming up, and sometimes people have been dismembered in September. Maybe we do a little retrospective of December to Dismember, just the series of pay-per-views, maybe not focusing on just one. Who knows? We can discuss this more, but folks, you're witnessing the creative process in action. Maybe this is on brand for us. It's December. Why not?
Yep.
I know you love some ECW, so
yep. All right.
Let's give them a little love.
All right. We'll give the audience what they want.
Really, you're giving me what I want, but yeah, I get
true.
you. Sure. It's about the audience. It's about the listeners.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's about all you jabronis listening out there. And speaking of jabronis listening out there, we hope you enjoyed the show today. We hope you continue to listen. Keep spamming that subscribe button. There's new episodes coming out as often as we can pump them out to you. And we hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. And we hope you and your families are good as the holiday season approaches. And we'll see you guys down the road. Keep on strutting.
We now return your perception of reality to you. Until next time.